Jug, 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 jug.
Oh man.
Uh, all right. Hey, what's up, phone lovers? Welcome to the Mobile Roar podcast for the week of November 21st, 2014.
Oh, hey guys, I'm Chris Chavez.
I'm Kevin Kraus. Uh, yeah.
Didn't see you there.
Talking coffee creamer.
Does it pretty good.
What is that for real? Chocolate milk?
It's coffee espresso almond milk.
Wow,
Interesting.
that's crazy.
Amazing. I'm kind of
Tasty?
lactose intolerant. Yeah, oh yeah, it's delicious.
So you're all caffeinated now, ready to go.
Yeah,
Cool.
all jacked up.
All right, so it was kind of a slower week, but we did have one big thing go up, and that was Kevin finally got his Nexus Player review, and we kind of forgot to talk about it last week. We were going to, but we just glossed over it. So, Kevin, tell us a little bit about that thing, your impressions.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of ultimately, I think I was a little bit disappointed with the Nexus Player. If you read the review, I mean, I think that comes across. I think it's a good attempt by Google, and it addresses some of the issues that I had with Google TV. But as far as Google trying to reinvent their TV platform, I don't think it's far and away that much of an improvement over Google TV, to the point where I'm just a little bit confused by what Google is trying to do with their TV platform. I mean, it's more, it's the standard. Whereas Google TV, it was a TV pass-through box. It tried to put Google as a layer on top of your cable television. Android TV is definitely more the Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV approach, which they both, I think, have their benefits. I've been using Google TV for a while, even though it's kind of fallen to the wayside. I still have a Google TV box in my house, and I like having the ability where I don't have to switch inputs to go to my my apps or my regular TV with the Nexus Player. But that's less an issue with the Nexus Player and more an issue of those types of devices in general. So I don't really hold that too much against the Nexus Player, but it's more just kind of it just feels like it's not totally there. I think the thing that it goes the most against the Nexus Player is just a pretty big lack in application support. For all of Android's openness, this is one device where Google has really actually put their foot down, and they're trying to be a little more choosy about what apps show up in the App Store. So apps need to be specifically built for Android TV, and I'm not sure if it's true, but I've seen speculation that Google even is just blocking apps in general, certain types of apps that don't really fit the Android TV sort of.
Yeah, I think there was something about that this week.
But so overall, for $99, I think there's probably better options out there. A lot of the shortcomings of Android TV's app support: it doesn't have HBO Go at launch. It doesn't have any access to your Amazon content. It's missing Spotify. It's missing a couple other apps, but it sort of is made up for using the Google Cast capabilities built in. But then, it's almost like, why not just buy a cheaper Chromecast, or Roku 3 has HBO Go. Even Apple TV has some of those apps that a lot of people really enjoy using for that. So I think it's kind of a toss-up. If you have a lot of Google Play content, it's very Google Play centric. So if you have a lot of Google Play content already, if you rent and own a lot of movies through Google Play, if you're tied into the Android ecosystem and you are absolutely in love with it and don't want to get out of that, it's an option. But otherwise, it's I'd say you just have to go ahead and consider everything that's out there.
You said that you thought it did do some things better than Google TV. What does it do better than Google TV?
While that's kind of the interesting thing, because while I say on one hand it doesn't have many apps, the app support's limited. I think for starters, it's just the implementation is better than Google TV. I think Google did a better job of getting developers on board and building apps that work really well with this ecosystem and this interface. So I think the apps that are there are better than most of the things we've seen on Google TV before. I think overall it's a simpler format. It's easier to jump into. I think Google TV, one of its downfalls was that it almost tried to do too much. It wanted to be a streaming box plus a TV just window to your actual TV. You could search TV listings and all those things. I think the fact that it's a simpler approach, very straightforward, it's super quick to set up. You just plug it in, log in, and you're ready to go. And one menu houses everything that you need to access. So it's very straightforward. I like that aspect about it. And I like having the little minimal remote, and I think the gaming on Android TV is a lot better than the gaming was on Google TV.
It seemed like in your video review you had a little trouble with the voice search too. Is that not work as good as it does on phones?
So I think when it works, it works really well. First of all, compared to phones, it's a little more limited what it can access because Android TV doesn't have a web browser, it doesn't have Chrome, so you can't just do a web search and look for a web page. It doesn't have, I mean, this isn't really voice search, but it also doesn't have things like Gmail. It doesn't have Google Drive, that sort of stuff. But so it's not really the sort of thing that you can interface with like files and file systems. But so the search is limited mostly to media stuff. It does do some of those more like Google Now type results when you ask, how old is Barack Obama? I think it's just the cliche one that I always use. But things like
What are
that.
we trying to change that to how old is Pauly Shore?
I gotta remember to use that one in the future. But it works. It works as well as Google's voice search works. But when you press the voice button, it's just you press it once and you talk, and it sort of predicts when you're done talking. So you kind of have to give it space. And if you are talking right when you press it, it'll pick up what you're saying as you're talking. So for it to work perfectly, you need to press the button, wait a beat, say the question, and then wait another beat for it to just isolate the specific question. So that might be the hang-up, because sometimes it'll pick up words that you didn't mean to include as part of the question. So I could see how in a noisy room, if there's other people watching TV, a lot of people talking, if it's just a noisy environment, I could see how it would have trouble picking up the actual voice commands. But when it does pick them up, it works well. I don't have much experience with Amazon Fire TV, but it's my understanding from some things that I've read that Amazon Fire TV's voice search, you actually have to hold down the voice button and then release it, so you have a little more control over when it's listening. So I think a feature like that would be cool for Android TV and the Nexus Player, and apparently that's in Amazon Fire TV. So that might be one suggestion to fix it, but that might be the one issue with voice search. It works really well, and I really like it because it's near impossible to type on Android TV with that little remote to search for whatever you want to search for. That can become irritating. So it's good. I think it works, but yeah, it definitely does stutter a little bit.
So it sounds like I don't need to rush out and replace my Roku with Android TV.
I wouldn't say so. I mean, that's again, I think some of the cooler aspects of the Android TV can be replicated just with a Chromecast for cheaper, or get one of these boxes that the ecosystem's a little more developed. I mean, that's the reason why I don't highly recommend the Nexus Player, but I'm a little bit hesitant to say that because I do feel that if developers and the general public get into this, then I think it could become a thriving ecosystem that could be really cool. But I'm worried that the same thing that happened to Google TV will happen. The developers won't catch on to building apps for it. People won't buy it. It won't be marketed right. No one will know what it is. So that could happen too. This could be a device where you spend $100 now, and 6 months from now there's 300 apps to choose from. It could be a device that you buy today, and 6 months from now there's the same handful of apps that are available now. Nothing more really has come to it. But I think because it's based on 5.0 Lollipop, and because it's part of this new Android everywhere kind of thing with the screen-to-screen experience, I think that it's I can't speak from experience, but I'm guessing that Google's trying to make it easier for developers to port to Android TV than it might have been to port to Google TV.
The crazy thing about Roku is it's almost a better Android TV box than the Nexus Player, because almost every single Android app, or I guess iOS app too, that can cast to a Chromecast, it also can cast to the Roku. So like YouTube, Netflix, you can cast to Roku. You can even screencast now on the Roku 3 and Android devices, which is really cool. So it's like, yes, I see your questioning face, Chris. it's you can do it. There's like a beta version of Roku. I've done it on mine successfully. It works.
Oh, so this is like an upcoming feature. It's being tested.
Yeah. It'll be in the next Roku update.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
so I mean, you can do almost everything you can with an Android TV, except like the voice search with the remote. And it has a million more apps. So right now,
Does Roku have
Roku is the clear.
a lot of gaming options, or is it not really a gaming?
Not really. There's like Angry Birds and You Don't Know Jack. There's a few games. I haven't really looked that much into it because I'm not. That's like not really what I wanted to do with my Roku. But Android TV probably has the edge in that category.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge gamer, mobile gamer or console gamer or otherwise. If anything, I'm more of a casual gamer. I have a few games that I play on my phone that I'm kind of addicted to, and I'll play like Madden on Xbox, but not really a big gamer. So I was actually pleasantly surprised with the selection that was there. It's not a huge selection again, but they're games that are made to work really well on Android TV, and I think that you know some of them, I mean, they're obviously not PlayStation 4 level graphics, but they have console, what I would consider console quality graphics. You would think, part of you thinks you're going to put this ported mobile game on your TV and it's going to look bad, but I mean, it seems like a real native experience. It looks really nice on the big screen for a lot of these games. So I was impressed with that aspect, and I'm actually surprised how much I find myself kind of just picking up games casually on Android TV and playing them. So yeah, that was surprising, and it's
What's
pretty
your
powerful.
what's your favorite game on there?
Um, there's I don't know if it's a free game in general or if it's just a game that's included on the Nexus Player as a promo. But this game Badland, I'm assuming it's also on Android devices, but it's one of those indie games, like a side scroller game. It's sort of like a creepier Flappy Bird, really. It's a game where you have like a little morbid, like Tim Burton type creature that you have to fly through
Oh yeah,
the level, and it kind of reminds me of, graphically and aesthetically, it reminds me of World of Goo a little bit, but it's
I remember that
kind
game.
of like a Flappy Bird gameplay, a little more forgiving than Flappy Bird and more puzzle aspects, but pretty cool. There's also a port of Skyforce 2014, which is a 10-year update to a kind of whatever, like a little arcade style spaceship shooter game.
Skyforce is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that game.
Yeah, so that's really cool. There's some fun ones on there. I like it, and of course they got classics like Pac-Man and all that stuff like that. So I've really been enjoying that part of it. So I think if you're into the gaming, then maybe the Nexus Player gets the edge. And if you're again into the Google ecosystem, does Roku have a Google Play app? Like, can you access your Google Play content directly?
Just a couple weeks ago, it got Google Play Movies and TV app, so you can actually watch movies and stuff that you've bought from Google Play.
Yeah, and see, that's one thing I am concerned about with Nexus Player is despite the number of apps that it might eventually get, like I think it'll eventually get HBO Go, but I wonder if it will ever get Amazon support because Amazon,
Right.
as far as I know, is probably going to try to block their apps from there so that people want to buy Amazon Fire TV or whatever. So the only workaround for that really is to do a tabcast with Chromecast. So get Amazon streaming on your web browser and cast it, and that's 2 levels removed almost. So it's not going to look the best, but
So I got one last question for you because we all know that you love your Google TV. You've mentioned a lot that you still use it. So are you ditching the Google TV for the Nexus Player, or what's happening?
Well, I don't, like I said, I don't think it's really. So here's the funny thing about Google TV is I still have it connected, but I don't really use it. I never search anything on it. I never go on the web. Sometimes I might put a YouTube video on there, if I've got friends over and we want to watch a YouTube video. So pretty much my Google TV is relegated to being a pass-through that I use to watch Netflix every once in a while. But the issue with that is there have been, I don't know if it's been updates or just getting older, but the Netflix app on Google TV works horrendously, and it doesn't. I'll get Netflix to load on my computer, on my phone, on every other device on the same network, but the movies will just pause halfway through on Google TV and stop playing. So pretty much Google TV, I guess to answer your question, no, I probably won't stop using it just because I'll be too lazy to disconnect it, but I won't. It'll still be there, but I don't really use its features. But on the other hand, I don't really see myself using the Nexus Player as a primary media device, more of something that I'm going to use if I want to watch Netflix, if I want to Chromecast something. So yeah, I guess to answer your question, it will replace my Google TV in that sense. Because at this point, I had already basically replaced my Google TV by just connecting an HDMI cable to my laptop and playing movies that way. So yeah, so I like it. Since I have it, I'm going to keep it. If I was out on the market buying this type of device, I don't know if I would get the Nexus Player. I might get the Roku. Call me a fanboy, but I actually would probably get the Apple TV.
Why Apple TV? I don't know what to do
Because
with Apple TV.
because I have all the Apple devices and I can do AirPlay real quickly and easily. I can screencast my laptop or my iOS device or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah. I just want to point out to our listeners that are not watching that Chris just muted himself for like 5 minutes so he could chow down on some toast. Though I doubt he muted the recording of this, so Kevin's still going to have to remove it all.
yeah, make a little note of when I need to cut out the.
Oh, gosh.
My blood glucose, man. Okay, it's a medical condition.
All right, so let's move on to the Nexus 6, which is actually arriving for people, like real
Right
life
now.
people who are not reviewing it, which is cool, I guess. Our own Derek Ross and Steve Albright, they got theirs. Derek bought his from. Where did Derek buy his? I think Steve got it from Google Play.
Yeah, I think they both got theirs from Google Play.
Okay.
I know we've got other ones. Rob Jackson, the big man Rob J's got one coming from Motorola that I think is supposed to arrive early next week.
Okay. And then the Nexus 6 is also available from T-Mobile right now. So if
It's
you want
out
a
there.
Nexus 6, it's about time that they're actually available. So
I mean, I hear that it's still really hard to get.
Yeah.
My friend who lives in Simi Valley, like close to LA, he was saying how he went to every single T-Mobile store and every single one was sold out, which was very, very odd. And honestly, I don't think that there is that much demand for it. I'm not even going to give Google the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say that just like supplies are very, 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 very low.
I agree.
Yeah, well, I read this. I forget who. I wish I remembered who, so I could give credit. But somebody posted on Google Plus, another Android blogger out there, and they said they didn't have any kind of concrete proof, but they were speculating that there's something going in the port of LA actually in Los Angeles. There's like a strike or something with workers at the port, and that all these devices are being shipped. A lot are being shipped from China directly to this port, and they're sitting in shipping crates on the docks because the workers are striking or something like that. So that might be an issue. Don't quote me on that. Someone was just speculating that that might be the case, but it makes sense if a shipment's coming from China and it lands at that port, and the dock workers aren't unloading stuff from the port, then maybe there's tons of Nexus 6 devices sitting there waiting to be shipped out.
That would be interesting. It's an interesting theory. It'd be kind of crazy if that was what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know the exact what's going on with the labor dispute, so I can't really speak to it. I'm just passing along speculation.
But yeah, so we have our unboxing up that Derek did. You can watch that, and we'll have more stuff going up for the Nexus 6 soon. Staying in Nexus land, which I feel like that's all we've been talking about on this podcast
Months
the
of
last few
Nexus.
weeks. Yeah. Nexus 9, tips and tricks. Chris Felix. You had some tips and tricks you wanted to talk to us about?
Got some crazy tips and tricks. Nexus 9.
You should have made like a video where you were like exhibit and you're like, we're gonna trick out your Nexus 9.
Yo, listen up, son.
You like
We
widgets?
gonna trick out you.
I got widgets for your widgets.
Oh God.
I mean, there was really nothing that was like super crazy. Most of it
Well,
is
then why'd you put it on this list?
most of it was just. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there that it's there. You guys should check it out if you just got a Nexus 9 because there's a lot of stuff on there that I have been. I mean, I've been playing with the Nexus 9 a lot, and I don't know when the review is gonna go up, but. Tons of stuff, tons of new stuff with Lollipop, and a lot of the new features are annoyingly buried within menus in the settings. So a lot of times you don't even know that they're there. And I bet I'll put money on it that there's just tons of people out there that are going to have a Nexus 9 forever, and then they're going to like post on Reddit sometime later, like, "Oh my gosh, did you guys know it could do this?" And it's like, yeah, dude, that was always there. It was buried in the menu.
That always happens, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, you should definitely check it out. Even if you're just a Lollipop user, so if you're just getting Lollipop on even just like a regular smartphone or something, you should probably still check it out because you can learn some cool new stuff.
Yeah, if you do have Lollipop, I also did a post, top 10 Lollipop features, so you guys could check that out too if you are just getting Lollipop. As most devices, Nexus devices have it now. Some don't, but I'll get into that, wins and fails. All right, so moving on, we got the Motorola Keylink is finally available, and this thing is pretty neat. I think they showed this off when you went to see Motorola in Chicago, right, Chris?
Yeah, they had. I mean, I think they talked about it, but it wasn't actually like available. But it was like a feature inside of the Motorola Power Pack Micro, um, and it's just like the Power Pack Micro is a battery pack which allows you to attach it to your keys, and you can track it your phone, and you can track your keys, and if you ever
And that's
misplace
not
either one.
available yet, I don't think.
The Power Pack Micro is available.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's been. I think it's been available since like they first announced it. But the Keylink was like in the FCC. We saw it like in the FCC filing and all this stuff. And it was originally. I don't know if you guys remember the Moto Skip for the original Moto X. It was like a little NFC tag that you could keep on you to like quickly unlock your device. This was supposed to be like the Moto Skip 2, but I guess they ended up changing the name to just plain old Motorola Keylink now. And it's just like a little key fob. It's not too big. It connects to your phone via Bluetooth, and you can use it to beep on your keys if you can't find your keys, or if you have your keys and you lost your smartphone, you can make your smartphone beep and start ringing so you can find that. So it's pretty.
Can you set it as a trusted device so that it will keep your phone
And
unlocked?
yes, you can set it as a trusted device on any like Motorola Droid phone or the new ones anyway. And Lollipop, so since that's like a Lollipop feature now, so any phone that will have Lollipop can set it as a trusted thing. So it's pretty darn cool. I think it's like really awesome, and only $25, so it makes like the perfect stocking stuffer.
Stocking
Yeah,
stuffer.
It's Christmas time, right around the corner. Holiday season.
Yeah, you can keep track of that stocking just in case. You lose it.
Track it down.
All right. So Apple changed some language in the App Store. So
Yes.
freemium apps, instead of saying free, it says get.
Yeah.
Get it.
And I was thinking about this. I was like, well, does Google do the same thing? And I was like, yeah, because Google says install, right? It doesn't say free. It says install, right?
Yeah. That's on the actual app listing. So there's the like when you search for apps through like category and you look at like top free apps, it'll say free on Google's. On Google's it says free. It doesn't even tell you if there's in-app purchases. Versus Apple's, which says
No, it does say in-app purchases.
oh yeah, it does. Okay, so on Apple's it says in-app purchases, but it doesn't no longer says free. They completely removed that. Although the category is still called free.
Top
actual-
10 get apps.
No matter even if it has in-app purchases or if it's just completely free, it's still like get
Yeah.
no matter what.
Gotta
And
get.
Google actually said back in August they were because there were some new laws. I guess the European Commission was like passing, and Google was all on board with this. They were just like, oh yeah, we talked to Europe, and we're totally behind this. And by the end of September, we will relist all of our free. There will no longer be anything that's free that has in-app purchases. They're going to relist it as something else. They didn't say exactly, but and then September came around and gone. I mean, that was a while ago, and they still haven't updated the Play Store with any of those changes they said they would. Meanwhile, Apple just kind of like swooped in under the radar, and it's just like, boom, gotta get that.
Gotta
Get.
I like it, but I really don't. I think it's fine. I think it's a good move, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, it's freemium apps. It's just like don't be. You just gotta be a little more aware of what you're
Right, I
buying.
mean, honestly, free
makes-
with in-app purchases underneath was probably plenty.
But it just gives them legal standing to be like, look, we
Right.
never said it was free. They can't be like, you said this app is free, and now I've spent $2,000.
Yeah, and my kid spent like all this money on in-app purchase. Yeah, so I mean, there is some kind of weird gray area there, and I mean, the reason they're doing this is because of all the lawsuits that. I mean, some lady won something. She got like a ton of money.
Well, yeah, there's some class
because of
action suits and everything.
So it makes sense. It makes sense, and I'm for the move. I don't even like in-app purchases to begin with, but maybe this will kind of steer people away from. Should I just make my app like $2 outright, or should I make it a get app with in-app purchases or something weird like that? But yeah, I don't know.
So, did you guys see this Nokia N1 tablet?
I did.
I did, yeah.
It's strange.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about it.
With the Z launcher.
And then beyond that, it's apparently not even. Nokia is known for making all this great hardware, and it's not even actually made by Nokia. It's just like branded by Nokia.
Yeah, it's made by Foxconn, essentially. And then it has Nokia's logo on it.
Well, I mean, everything comes from Foxconn, though,
Yeah,
right? Like, every
but didn't
single.
Foxconn
design
also,
it?
right?
Oh, okay, never mind.
Like you can actually buy Foxconn branded stuff.
Really, that's
Yeah, yeah,
nuts.
yeah. Like go on Amazon and search for Foxconn. You can find like
Yeah,
Foxconn barebone PCs and
yeah.
stuff like that. They
I should
actually
think.
are a brand.
Yeah, that's something they and I think it's something they're actually trying to do more of recently. And I think this Nokia thing is part of that because Foxconn is so known for being everyone else's little manufacturer. They just do everyone else's bidding, but they actually have been trying to enhance their own
You know what? I
internal
think
design
I think I remember them mentioning that for what was it, the BlackBerry Playbook, which was their tablet. I think I remember people saying how like it was just a Foxconn tablet, kind of generic, and then BlackBerry just rebranded it as their own.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind
The,
of
the, the thing about the N1 is it's kind of funny because Foxconn obviously makes a lot of Apple stuff. I think they still do.
Yeah.
And the N1 looks exactly like an iPad Mini. So
it seems so weird, like a conflict of interest. Like you have like all the schematics, and I don't know. It's just very seems very very sketchy, just
yeah,
strange.
I mean Foxconn could just make so much money off of that. It'd be like, hey, do you guys want an iPad Mini with Android on it?
Exactly, like they
We
could
can do that.
What if it was like
paint it black.
Apple had an initial run of tablets and it was like a prototype iPad Mini
There
and they
you
were like,
go.
oh, we're
Yeah.
not actually going to use this one, and then Foxconn was like, well, we'll use it. Like,
we already built like 5,000 of them.
And they can put like designed by Apple in California.
It's totally legal.
But yeah, I mean it's actually kind of a cool tablet. I think once you get past the fact that it looks exactly like an iPad Mini, so it's kind of a copycat device, and it has this weird Z launcher. I mean, once you get past that, it's
Beta,
kind of
Z launcher beta.
right.
I don't get.
It's
Nokia's
$250, which is cheap.
What is their strategy here?
What version of Android does it run?
That part I don't know. I didn't.
I think it actually might be Lollipop.
I don't think it's Lollipop.
There's
I think
no way.
it's KitKat at best.
Yeah, KitKat at best for sure. I'm guessing Jelly Bean, but KitKat at best.
Let me check real quick. Here it is.
If they even mentioned it. Wait for it.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, the first thing I would do would be uninstall the Z launcher because the Z launcher is horrible. I've tried it on my phone before, and it's like
If you is that like an option you have, or you mean you would just like uninstall it, root it, or
I
whatever?
mean, it's like any other Android device. I'm sure, like once you install another launcher, when you hit the home button, it'll ask you which one you want to use.
Yeah. So, then what is Nokia hoping to accomplish by releasing this N1 tablet?
They're hoping to make money.
Right. I know, but it just seems like such a conflict of interest. It's
Oh
not
my
like it's
God!
off surface.
It runs Android 5.0 Lollipop out of the box.
What is happening? What is happening? How would they?
7.9 screen, 2.4 gigahertz Intel Atom processor, Android 5.0. 2 gigs of
Sweet.
RAM, 5400 milliamp battery. I mean, it's got pretty decent specs, and it looks nice. It's weird.
What's the display size again?
7.9.
Okay, so it's like it
Good
is like an
size.
iPad
I'm
Mini.
sure it'll be very cheap. I mean, Foxconn. Yeah,
Well,
could be cool.
that's something that I'd be interested to check out, but I don't have high hopes for it. I just am confused about what Nokia is trying to do lately. It doesn't make sense.
Nokia right now, I think they're almost licensing out their name. It's like, hey, you can put our name on this thing, and people will want to buy it.
You want it's Nokia.
Because I mean, Nokia doesn't have a huge or like a notable name because of all the Windows Phone stuff. I think they've kind of fell down. But let's be honest, would you rather buy a Nokia tablet or a Foxconn tablet?
Probably Nokia.
Nokia.
Yeah. So
Samsung.
Samsung. All right. So hold on a second. I gotta SnapCash some money to you guys.
Oh, please do.
So that's kind of weird.
Oh,
You can send money with Snapchat.
the best thing I saw about this SnapCash is that someone was like, "Great, it's a way for like, teenagers to monetize nudes." You know, you'd be like, how much?
I
do you
would
think?
not have ever thought of that, but you're totally right.
Send me
Wow.
$5 for little
I mean,
boob pic.
don't you show you my raisins? Um, is it, I mean, there's like companies and like businesses that use Snapchat, right? And they send you ads and stuff. Like, are you gonna be able to like send them money and
I don't know about all that.
a product or something? I
Well,
mean,
I think
like
to
that's
kind of to zoom out of the whole thing to because to make it sound less sketchy, this isn't like something that Snapchat is doing on their own. That they're actually building in technology from Square and Square Cash to actually handle all this. So all the actual transactions are handled by Square. So you can trust that while we might not trust Snapchat so much with our data, I would feel confident that this is a safe way to transfer money. I actually love Square Cash. I use it all the time. That's my biggest issue with it is I have the Square Cash app and it works really well. Why would I need to send in cash in Snapchat? It seems kind of excessive, but
It's probably more of a way to get people to use Snapchat and not like something for existing or sorry, Square.
yeah,
Like you get new Square users instead of like a cool thing for existing Square
I love it
users.
because every time I send Square Cash to someone that doesn't have it, Square sends me $1 for signing them up. So I always get $1 off. But yeah, I like Square Cash a lot. But in Snapchat, the other thing that's weird about it is to send the money, all you have to do is put a $sign in the money amount. So if you were just using the Snapchat chat feature and you're just talking about money, is it just gonna
hey man,
send that? If you're like, man, I wish I had $2,000, and then it sends them to.
Well, it turns the send button green
Yeah.
if you are about to send money. So I would hope you would see that and be like, "Oh crap!" And I would also
I don't
hope
know, how many
that
times have you hit the send button without actually looking at what if you're going fast,
I would hope that they have it
there's
so
some like confirm, yeah.
if you put just like a money amount,
Yeah.
like it's not within context of some other stuff that you're saying. But I have no idea.
But it's a cool feature. I really like a lot of these apps that are doing this pretty much instant payment because I used to rely on PayPal for everything, and you had to have a PayPal account. And now these Square Cash services and services like that, Venmo and all those, you just kind of send the money, and it doesn't matter if they have an account or not, as long as they put in their information, it goes through, and it's just really great. So I support it, but again, yeah, I mean, you can start monetizing those nudes.
Every time I see one of these new apps that does this, I'm just like, when am I ever going to feel like I need this? Because you talk about how much you love Square Cash, and I think Chris did too. And I have never had a situation in my life where I have wished I could send someone money digitally. I don't know. Maybe I'm
It's
just
just
an
so, I
anomaly.
mean, there's just so many times in my life where someone's like, I need $10, or like you go to like I'll go to like a concert and I don't carry cash, so I'll be with someone that does carry cash, and they'll be like, there's a $10 door charge, and I don't have $10 to get in the door. Someone pays the $10, I Square Cash them $10. It's just a way, so you can be like, oh, I owe you that money, I'll give it to you in the future, or you can just be like, I'll send it to you right now, or just if someone ever needs anything, people are always like, oh, I need this, I send my bills, pay my bills to my roommates and stuff. It's good. I think there's a lot of uses for it.
That is cool. Yeah, it's probably just one of those things where I've never done it before, so it's not even in my mind as like a solution.
Once you do it, it's addictive. You'll just want to
Yeah.
send money to everybody.
Yeah, it's like I've used it. Me and my friend, I mean, with my roommate, like he would buy like milk. It's like, ah, don't worry, man, I got you, and I'll like reimburse him. Or we go out to eat with like Edgar, and Edgar's like, all I got is like I don't got any cash on me, man. I'm like, gosh damn it, Edgar. Don't worry, man. I'll PayPal you, man. I'll PayPal you. I'm like, all right, cool. And then it's just this constant exchange of money. It's like it's really really cool and addictive, like you said.
Well, maybe I'm not gonna use it if it's gonna make me addicted to sending people money.
Yeah,
I mean, or you can just keep telling people.
I
yeah,
just gotta
PayPal.
send this $5, man. I just gotta. Gotta get rid of it.
if you want to start, just send it my way, man. Or if you're out there listening, and you have have my email address, just send me some cash, man.
Dollar or two, quick donate.
Well, you should just be like getting every email address you can so that you can send people money and get that free dollar.
I know if I send them 50 cents, then I'll profit 50 cents.
Exactly. Uh, all right, so let's move on to our wins and fails of the week.
All right, I'll start this off with my win. I actually kind of had trouble finding a win that I was really excited about this week, but this is kind of a little thing that I think will be cool in the long run for anyone who uses an iPhone or an iPad. with a Lightning port. Apple just started kind of updating their standards and releasing the tools that accessory makers need to take better advantage of using the Lightning port. The Lightning port, since it came out with the iPhone 5, hasn't always had the opportunity to be supported as well by accessory makers. The 30-pin connector, which is the old iPhone and iPad charging connector, had so many accessories and so many different ways it could be used, and I think they're finally starting to open up the Lightning port in that way. So I think we're going to see a lot more cool accessories that handle charging better. There's a new thing that you can have Lightning port connected headphones. So if you have a pair of headphones that can connect with a Lightning port to simultaneously charge if they're wireless and also play music via Lightning. So a lot of cool things that'll be coming out with that. So
how many Lightning ports does a typical Mac come with?
Well, Lightning is the iPhone standard. Lightning's the little connector. Thunderbolt. Is that Thunder?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
I think the Mac Pros come with like 2, maybe 1. It's irritating. That's even harder to find stuff for. But yeah, I think better support for Lightning it will be good for the iPhone and iPad and anyone who has devices. So that's my win. Again, nothing too exciting. My fail of the week is Facebook. I don't know if this is on Android, but for iOS at least, they've released a standalone Groups app. Now, they promise that unlike Messages, they're not going to remove Groups from the regular Facebook app. But regardless of that, I think it's about time that Facebook just stops making these standalone apps for every little aspect of Facebook. Like next, there's going to be a newsfeed app, and there's going to be,
your friends app,
an events app, like all this. Like, do we need all these standalone apps? And I'm sure they're all on their way. Like,
by the way, Groups is available for Android. I just checked.
Yeah, so this is Groups. It's actually not a bad app. If you use Groups a lot, it breaks out your groups. On the iOS version, at least, you can generate home screen icons for individual groups, so you can just jump right into a group with a shortcut. You can post pictures, talk in your group, do whatever you want to do, manage your groups. It's nice for what it does, but I'm just wondering, when does this stop? Like, will every little aspect of Facebook be its own app eventually?
Well,
and how does it really benefit Facebook?
To be honest, Groups should be its own app, more so than Messenger almost, because have you ever tried to get to Groups in the Facebook app? It's super buried.
It is.
So I can see if you use Groups a lot, you're probably thanking Facebook for this because it's such a pain in the ass to get to.
Is anyone really using it that much? I don't
use Groups that much.
I'm in a couple groups. Just I have one with my family, and that's like a way that we communicate a lot. But I think
explain how Groups works again, because I'm a little foggy on.
Basically, just like a separate Facebook news feed.
Yeah.
For
Groups were what
a group of people
before Pages existed. Really, Groups were like the original Pages, and then so Groups used to be you'd have a group for there would be like a Samsung Galaxy S5 group, and it would just be everybody could join, talk about the Samsung Galaxy S5. Then Facebook made Pages, which were more official brand pages. And some aren't official, but either way, they made Pages, which kind of replaced Groups function.
Now Groups are it really is just a group, and most of them are private groups. So.
Oh, that's cool. Maybe I will start using it. That actually sounds pretty awesome. I could make a group for my apartment building and have everyone from their apartment join it, and this way, when someone's being noisy or cooking that weird spaghetti, boom.
Yeah. That would be a perfect use for it. But I'm not saying anything about Groups. I like Groups. The ones I'm in a couple of them, but I don't use them a lot. But I just think it's, you could make. I guess I get it. You don't want to make one single Facebook app that has all of these features and it's just overwhelming. But I also don't want 30 Facebook apps on my homepage or whatever.
The funniest thing to me is that these separate apps like Groups and Messenger are so much better than the regular Facebook app. When is the regular Facebook app going to get update? Come on.
Well, you know what? You know which app I will download as a standalone app if they make it? The most recent newsfeed. I will download
Oh, man. You are so right. That would get 1 million downloads overnight.
It's so annoying.
When they switched that in the Facebook app, I remember checking the Google Play Store, and just every single review was 1 star, where's most recent.
It's true.
Super annoying.
Buried in there.
I didn't even know until you guys mentioned that. Oh yeah, you can get to it. I had no idea. I thought it was just completely gone forever. I didn't even.
Yeah, and now every time I open the Facebook app, I do that.
Yeah,
Every
but that's what
single
but now
time.
you can't set it as a default, which is I guess
No.
you can't really even set it as a default on actual Facebook on the web because it'll keep it that way for a few times you visit and eventually it'll reset
Yeah,
back to
just like randomly it will switch back and you'll be like, wait, what? God, Facebook.
and it acts like you don't want to see it. When you are on your when you're not on most recent, it doesn't give you any kind of message. But when you're on most recent, it says, just so you know, you're looking at most recent. If you want to look at the other thing, click here. Like, but they
You
don't
want
Yeah,
to see a completely
yeah.
random
they don't do that the
post.
other way around.
Viewing most recent stories back to top stories. Like that's where I started. No, I don't
Yeah.
want to go
But
back
when it's
there.
top stories, it's not saying viewing top stories back to most recent, which I
Exactly,
think
yeah.
makes more sense. But
Those
whatever.
those jerks.
I don't
Facebook.
know. How do they benefit from top stories over most recent?
Because
That's a good question.
no, it's
Actually.
because of the ads and stuff like that and promoted content and people paying for posts to like kind of move them higher up. So yeah, that's exactly why they want it because they want control over your feed. They don't want time, this thing called time, regulating how what shows up on your screen.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. All right. My win of the week is going to be Trusted Places in Smart Lock, which is a feature in Lollipop. And just the other day, they added Trusted Places to Trusted Devices and Trusted Faces. So what you could do is if you have for trusted devices, if you have a Bluetooth or NFC device connected, like Keylink we were talking about, it will disable your lock screen like pattern or password or whatever. Trusted Faces, if it detected that you were looking at the phone, it would also disable it. And now Trusted Places, if you're in a certain location, like your home or you're at work, it will disable the lock screen security also. And that's awesome. All those smart lock things combined is probably like my favorite feature in Lollipop. Just because I wear an Android Wear device every day, so I use that to disable my lock screen.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a good feature. The only thing that I would be kind of hesitant about is if you have like your home as a trusted place and you still don't want like your girlfriend or your roommates
right.
prying in your phone.
yeah,
Then
this is for like outside sources, but like yeah, your family, you don't want your moms snooping through your photos and stuff. Then it's not the best, but. I mean, even then, you can do it with Bluetooth if it's just Bluetooth only. And
yeah, but even Bluetooth has a 30-foot range, so if you
Right.
leave your phone
If you're
down in the
really worried
kitchen
about
and
people in your house, probably the
don't,
only one you're gonna be able to use is the Trusted
yeah,
Face.
trust no one.
Trust one. Yeah, I don't want your sister or somebody getting a hold of your phone and putting something on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. No.
Talking to you, sister. My sister does that to me all the
sounds
time.
like it's happened before.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
And I do it back to her, so it's just kind of one of those things. All right, my fail of the week is going to be my Nexus 7 2013 still does not have Lollipop over the air.
But your specific one. I mean, the Nexus 7 2013 can
Oh
get
yeah,
Lollipop.
I mean, but there's actually a lot of people that haven't. I checked the Nexus 7 subreddit the other day just because I was curious, and there actually were a lot of people in there complaining about not having it yet. So it's kind of weird, but I mean, what has it been? Over a week, 2 weeks since Lollipop was started rolling out? I thought I'd for sure have it by now. Just crazy.
You would think. I
I
mean,
thought
that's what's really weird
Nexus
about
might
it.
oh got them so quickly, but
I mean, not just Nexus devices, just tablets. Like the tablets get them before the phones do, and it's like you're just still waiting on it.
yeah.
Maybe there's some critical bug that they found, and it's just like they have to patch it before they're.
And I refuse to sideload the over-the-air update or whatever. I already messed with that on my Nexus 5. I'm not doing it again on the Nexus 7.
But it's so easy, man. It's just a little ADB. Just a little ADB
No.
sideload.
No.
Um,
ADV
yes.
sucks. All right, Chris, what's your wins and fails?
My win for the week is going to be I finally found the one, guys. Like this is the
No. Oh my
Show
god.
us.
this is the one. It's the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact.
So you still have this phone a week later.
I mean, it's been about like 4 or 5 days now, but like I've never been more happy with a. I cannot. I want to just like scream it from the rooftops.
I can't.
Like this is it.
I can't hear you say this stuff, man. I can't, man.
It really
Chris
is.
is finally
Like,
settling down.
Next time
I'm
you're on
settling
the
down.
podcast,
Like
you're gonna be like, yeah, man, I had to meet up with someone off Craigslist to sell my Sony Xperia Z3.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy because I'm seeing these phones. I got my Moto X. It's getting lollipop. I mean, I see all these other phones, and I'm just like, you know what? No, I'm satisfied with mine. Like she's.
You don't have Lollipop?
right
I thought
for
I
me.
saw the Lollipop lock screen.
No, there's like a separate app that you can download for the
Oh,
Lollipop
okay.
lock screen, and then I have Nova Launcher, which makes it look like lollipops. So I mean, it's pretty darn. I mean, I got the look down. Feature-wise, it's got more features than Lollipop's even's got because it's got like Sony Xperia features. You can adjust the white balance. I mean, there's just so much. I can't even like. But okay, I'll say my top favorite things. The size, awesome.
Do you
Stereo
have another
front-facing
phone to compare
speakers,
that size to?
awesome. Here's the Moto X.
Okay.
So it's like a little bit
What is the screen
smaller.
size of that? Is it 4.3 or 4.7?
I believe it's a 4.5 something. 4.
Okay, so it's right in the middle there.
Yeah, it's a little bit smaller than the iPhone, which is 4.7, right?
Right.
So the screen is a tiny smidge smaller, but it takes off a lot of like the topness because it's got that big. The iPhone's got that big old bezel on it. But the camera, awesome. Stereo front-facing speakers, awesome. Battery life is just as good as the Droid Turbo, which is insane. I guess the only real shortcoming is the 720p. Like, you're not gonna even notice it. I mean, it still looks flipping awesome. You can adjust the white balance. So like at first it was a little too bluish for me. I adjusted the colors and it made it look just phenomenal. I mean, I can't say enough about this phone. Like I can't say enough. Like every time I pull it out of my pocket, like usually I can't even do anything most of the time. I'm not even like I don't even know what to do, but I'm just looking at it like I want to do something with this awesome phone. I usually just end up just staring at it.
You guys
for a
are
while.
excited about a phone in
witnessing.
a while.
You guys are witnessing Chris growing up right before our eyes. He just moved in
It's
with
just
his
so-
girlfriend, and now he's
Yeah.
found the one.
What's
You know,
happening?
Chris,
What is
There
happening?
comes a time in every man's life where he just has to give himself to one smartphone.
It's just so nutty. I almost can't believe it. But just everything. It's nailing it. It's nailing everything on all.
You'll have a new one in 6 months.
You realize now, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you do discard this phone, you realize now what you've done. You
Hey man,
so much hell for it.
I mean, like sometimes marriages don't work out, and I get that. But I mean, I really do believe right now in my heart of hearts that this is it. This is the
You're in the honeymoon phase. You're all.
I mean, but that's the thing. I rarely have a honeymoon phase. Usually my honeymoon phase is like a day, and then I'm like, gosh, I really don't like this about it, or I really don't like that about it. But this phone is just so perfect, so perfect. I can't. The worst part, and this is the worst part about the phone, is that you can't really buy it. So no one's gonna walk into a carrier store and find it because no one offers the freaking phone, despite its awesomeness. The only way to get it is direct from Sony, and it's like $500. So. Yeah. I don't
So
know.
people are gonna be like, dude, what's that phone? You're gonna be like, oh, you can't get it.
Yeah. Oh, you mean this? Yeah. It's all mine. Licking it.
That's
So-
pretty awesome.
And you can lick it because it's waterproof, right?
Yeah, it's waterproof, so I Windex it all the time.
Have you taken it in the shower?
It's got yes, it's got glass on the front and back. I can watch my YouTube videos in the shower, so I have something to do. I'm multitasking while I'm in there. It's just like I can't say enough. It's just so much awesomeness in one little phone. Like
Before you move on to your fail, you have to have one thing you don't like about it. There's got to be something.
the one thing I don't like about it. Oh crap! There's got to be something.
Wow. Maybe there isn't something.
Oh! No, the internal storage is only 16 gigabytes. So even though it supports micro SD card, not all apps can move to your SD card. So it's kind of freaking me out a little bit. But right now I haven't hit my 16 gigabyte limit yet. So it's just freaking me out. And I'm getting a ping from Rob on Hangouts. That's weird.
Well, move on to your fail of the week.
Yeah, I can't respond to him right now. I wonder what happened. My fail for the week is going to be Amazon for Android Wear. So the Amazon app was updated recently. Well, not too long ago, the Amazon app was updated to include the Amazon App Store. So they kind of got rid of their whole standalone Amazon the App Store. I think it was just one word, App Store. App Store.
Yeah.
And they bundled it into just the Amazon app. And then recently, a couple days ago, they updated the Amazon app so that it supports Android Wear now. So now you can make purchases directly from your watch. You just say, "Okay, Google, start Amazon," and it opens up the Amazon app, and you can from there perform another voice search to look for certain items, which I don't imagine would be very easy because I mean there's so many proper nouns on things. I mean, like I need to look up Motorola for my fungus feet or something, and it's just not gonna. I don't know, but you can make purchases if you have one-click settings enabled. You can make purchases just by tapping on it, and it's just kind of, I don't know, a little bit weird. I mean, I get why Amazon's doing it. They always want you to make the whole buying process as easy as possible. One-click settings, all that stuff.
As impulsive as possible.
Yeah. And now it's so crazy to just have it on your watch. I don't think I'll ever use it. I mean, if I really want to buy something that bad, I'm going to use it on my smartphone, and I'm going to look up a couple reviews and see how it is and this and that. But
yeah, the watch just doesn't give you enough info. I feel like it just wouldn't be enough to make a proper purchasing decision.
It gives you like the star ratings, which is nice. But like, say I'm at like Best Buy and I'm looking to buy a vacuum, and I need to buy the Hoover and they have these weird model numbers. You have the D1 2780 340, and it's just.
Yeah, you're much more likely to get the phone app and do the barcode scanner thing.
Exactly. Pull out your dang phone, type it in, and boom, it's going to be right there. It's so much more quicker than, I mean, unless it's like life or death and you can't access your phone and you need to buy something right now.
I need toilet paper!
Well, what if you're stuck under a rock and you have to you order something on your watch, the drone brings you like emergency flares, you had to buy some on Amazon, and then shoot your flare off.
My phone's across the room. I need a phone.
Oh man.
I'm never gonna turn on one-click buy, so that's not gonna work.
I mean, with the drones, just think of how cool that'd be. Is Amazon and your toilet paper just flies through your window, roll of toilet paper.
Every house is gonna come with like a hatch in the roof that only the Amazon drones can open, so they can just like come right into your house, deliver the products to you.
Can't wait. So excited.
All right, let's move on to our app picks.
All right. I don't have a very flashy one this week, and this won't be for everybody, but if you have, again, an iPhone, if you have iOS 8, if you use Health, the Health app that came with iOS 8, but if you also have a Fitbit device, there's been some tension because Fitbit is one of the few companies that makes fitness accessories that won't allow fitness data to sync with the iOS 8 Health app. So that's been a point of contention. Apple's removed Fitbit devices from their store, from the Apple store, so you can't even buy Fitbit stuff there anymore. But anyway, that's all setting up this new app, not from Fitbit, but from a third-party developer. It's called Sync Solver. It's $1, and it allows you to sync your Fitbit data with your health app. So if you use the health app to consolidate all of the various health data that you're collecting through different sources, then this will finally let you use your Fitbit information in there. I actually do use the health app, not for a lot, but I have my Strava app synced up with there, so I keep my cycling data in there, and I keep some other calories burned type stuff, and you can do the pedometer. So if you use a Fitbit and you want to integrate it with iOS 8 Health, then that is a good choice.
That's pretty cool.
For everyone to get healthy.
My app pick of the week is going to be a game that I believe is available on iOS and Android called Two Dots.
Two Dots.
It's the first game they made was called Dots, so this is kind of the sequel if you remember that game. I've been playing it a ton the last few days. It's super addicting. It's one of those games where there's like little colored dots and you have to draw lines to get rid of them. But there's a lot more to it than that. There's like certain levels you have to clear a certain amount of one color, or you have to get like some anchors to the bottom of the screen by removing dots, and just a bunch of different things. It's energy system, so if you like die a certain amount of times, you have to wait for your life to regenerate, or buy more lives. But
Freemium.
it's fun. I refuse to buy more lives. I'm just patient. And it's really addicting, and it's called Two Dots.
Sounds cool.
It's got good ratings, right? Like everyone's like all about it.
Yeah, it's pretty popular right now.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Oh, is it my turn? Is that what
It is your turn.
My pick is gonna be another social network.
Another social network. What?
Created by the guy that did Twitter. So brought to you by the guys that made Twitter. It's the original co-founder of Twitter. I think his name's Biz Markie. Stone. Biz Stone. Yeah, that's the coolest freaking name ever.
And Ben Finkel is the other guy.
Yeah. Finkel.
Didn't one of the Twitter guys make Medium? Is that a Twitter
guy? I think
there are a lot of former Twitter guys out there.
That's true.
For sure, who is the original?
Yeah, well, I think the original guy's still on it right now, but it's Bistone was like one of the original. He was the co-founder, so I don't know if he had the idea or helped develop it.
I think he was one of the original investors.
There you go. So I mean, this guy does a lot of stuff. So he's always like bringing out all these different apps and services and stuff like that. They're kind of just like hit or miss. He wants to see what's going to stick. He's throwing the spaghetti at the wall, and then here comes Super. So it's very similar to Twitter in that you build up a list of followers and you just broadcast stuff out, your opinions or thoughts or anything on life or whatever, and you start off with these little, I guess like tags or what would it be, like a title. So it could be like I really hate or blah blah blah, and everything's like all in caps, really bright, crazy typography. It's like italics and just bold and huge. So I guess the focus really isn't so much on images as it is what you're saying, and then just try to make it look really cool and hip. And I guess it does look cool and hip. It's a little bit busy and a little bit weird. And after you think of your phrase, it automatically looks through, I guess, like Google search or something else, but it'll find images for you related to whatever the heck you're talking about, so it kind of knows that. And then you just post it. So it's similar to like Whisper and Secret, although you can post stuff anonymously. They don't really call it anonymous. They call it anonymish, because if you only have one follower and you're posting stuff anonymously, it's pretty easy to figure out, who it is posting. So they said they kind of wanted to avoid the whole, like, this is not an anonymous service, although you can kind of use it like that, which is awesome, and I think Twitter should enable something like that in the future. But it's pretty cool. Me and Joe were talking about it earlier. He was saying what was the point, kind of. When you have Twitter, you have Facebook, you have Google+, you have all these other ones right now, but I like it in that when you Google search something on Google search, you're typing in, like, say, Chris Chavez, something, blah, 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 blah. That is all indexed and searchable on Google search, in Twitter, all that stuff. Someone can find something you said in the past and hold it against you or something, whether it's like a job search or something like that. Who knows? But with Super, since all the text is in the image, it's not really searchable, so it's a little more anonymous, I guess you could say. So it's
it
just
actually generates images using the text.
Exactly. So think of the text, boom, it puts it on top of an image, and then it posts that picture.
You chose the background image, though. Do you not?
You can take a picture. You can pick one from your gallery. But if you as soon as you write the text, the next step, it'll automatically generate. It has like a list of pictures relating to. So when I posted about how I was shopping at IKEA, and I wish I had more money to not shop there, it automatically just all these IKEA photos of like the IKEA store showed up at the bottom, and it was like, oh, this is great. And I just I could choose one of those and post it. So it's pretty neat. And the Whisper app does the same thing too.
It definitely looks weird. I mean,
it looks weird. It's busy. I mean, I don't know if I'm just getting old. I mean, I'm trying to still.
What these kids are using these days.
I'm trying to stay hip, and I'm trying to embrace it. Like, oh, this is cool. It's all in caps. All right, I can get behind this.
I told Chris before the podcast that I installed it and uninstalled it in record time.
Yeah. I mean, you'll definitely know, like, once you install it, if it's right for you. I don't really see too many people using it. I just feel like as an adult platform, maybe not so much. But I mean,
I'm just like, I don't think could think of enough clever things to put image on text or text on an image. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm
So
trying to
it's
think, but
so is it like more or less a meme generator social network type thing? Like the images to me
I
sound
think
like
it
it's
can.
generating like meme type stuff.
Well, like right now, the whole aim, I mean, is to it's just like Twitter, just to put your thoughts out there and yada yada. But I think it can kind of evolve to that, and it's like it's really hard to predict what the kids are going to latch on to. Like as we saw with Snapchat, everyone's trying to create all these better and arguably better services and apps, but the kids just don't like it. It's like, no, I like Snapchat. It's cool. It's got that little ghost, and they just keep using it. So that's what they're kind of doing with this. They're just like they're not really sure how people are going to use it, but they're going to put it out there and hopefully it does well. And I can kind of see it. I didn't really think about that, but like as a meme thing, I think it could work pretty darn well. Yeah.
I think that what you just said really sums up the new social networks. It's like, let's just put this out there, and maybe the right kids will find it and make it popular.
I don't know if you guys, Kevin Rose. I think he made
Yeah.
what was that? I forget what the whole thing. Not Grinder. Tumblr, not Tumblr. It's the one where you just hop on different websites and
Stumble upon.
Stumble Upon. So Kevin Rose, the guy that did Stumble Upon and stuff like that, he did a new app called Tiny App, and it's like part of his little project that he's involved in. And they just release these crazy little apps just out of the blue, boom, and see if it catches on. If it doesn't, no big deal. They shut it down. They work on a new one, boom, see if it catches on. So Tiny App is kind of interesting too because it just has nothing but videos and picture feeds. And everything's moving as you're looking through it, and everything's small. You can't blow up anything bigger than the thumbnail, which is like super tiny. So it's kind of weird, but interesting too. So yeah, everyone right now, like no one, people pretty much figured it out. I guess like Silicon Valley, we cannot figure out kids. We have no idea what the heck they like. So let's just throw everything out there and just see what they end up liking. And it's kind of where it's going.
Telekinesis. That's the next big thing.
The next big thing. Samsung telekinesis.
Samsung.
All right. Well, I think that's a good place to stop this episode. Next week is Thanksgiving. We're still trying to decide if we're going to do a show on Wednesday or no show at all, but you will find out on Google Plus whatever we decide to do. So keep in touch there. You can also follow us on social networks, Twitter and whatnot. I'll give those in a second. But first, if you want to send us a question or a comment or anything else, you can use our email address, podcast@mobileroar.com. You can also subscribe to the audio version of the podcast and Stitcher Radio in iTunes and Windows Phone Store. And then you can follow us on Twitter. Chris is at Game Report, Kevin is at You Don't Know Kev, and I am at Tall Schmo. Let us know if you want us to do the show next week, or what you think about that, and we'll try to get back to you and what we think is best. But we'll see you next week or the week after that, regardless. So, see ya.
Yep. Bye, guys.